instance that happened to me is I was actually in Africa with actually a friend of mine who has this ministry where he takes groups to Africa and they get to experience different ministries there. It's kind of like a shotgun blast of different ministries, and then maybe they get involved with one and they leave, you know. Anyways, we were in Uganda, and there was like a 20-year war that ended about 2 years ago that most people don't know about with the LRA, the Lord's Resistance Army. It's a fanatical Christian rebel group that was wanting to take over Uganda. And they used to kidnap kids as a way to grow their army and also use them as pack mules. They would kidnap women or children, well, girls, and use them basically as concubines and wives. Very Old Testament-esque. It's kind of funny. Anyways, while I was there, we were out in the countryside, just outside of this town called Gulu, and we actually camped outside in this village, and I met a guy named Jimmy from Uganda, and we stayed up till about 2 in the morning around the fireside in the middle of Africa. Look at the starscape, and so Jimmy tells me the story about how his father was killed. The LRA would kidnap their prey at night, the kids, and so at night they actually would usually have to sleep out in the village or out in the bush. They couldn't sleep in their huts, so they caught wind that the LRA was in the area. So the village scurried out into the bush. Anyways, Jimmy's father was, I don't know the exact circumstances, but he broke off and lost contact with his family. And Jimmy's father and a couple other men were caught by the LRA. And the LRA wanted to know where their children were so that they could take them, and they refused to tell them. And they tortured them and killed them. And that night, Jimmy and his mom and his siblings prayed that God would save their dad. And the next morning, they were walking back towards their village, and they came across his father and some of the other men who had been tortured and killed. You know, and I hear stories like that. You know, if there's a God out there, a good, loving, caring God, I don't know. I don't see how things like that could happen. And that was just one instance, you know. And I hear people all the time say stuff like, "Thank you, Jesus," when they get a parking spot in a crowded lot at a mall. Well, if that God is more concerned about getting this person a parking spot than he is about intervening in Jimmy's life and the atrocities that were going on in Uganda for 20 years, you know, then I want nothing to do with that God, you know. And that was one of the factors that really gnawed at me and got to me over the years, is hearing stories like Jimmy's and other atrocities that are happening all over the world and within the United States.